Hi, I'm going to be taking a look at Putin and Trump's date on Friday, their date night, see what they're going to talk about. See what's really going to be their point of discussion that we need to know about. What are they going to be up to, Putin and Trump, on Friday? And what are they going to be discussing? What will Putin and Trump be discussing? Flow with rhythm cycles, I get. And I get guardian of nurture, caring energy. Might be some catching up there, but so far those two don't really impress me. Mercury the messenger, important information right there. Maybe those other two will come back to mean something more to me later when I look at it again. But right now, this one's stepping out. You know, we've clearly got some important message being relayed between the, that they will be talking about, no kidding. But looks like now we might be tracking. And we get travel movement. So, yeah, they're both traveling. Warriors of Mars, battles for dominance. So, certainly some of it will be discussion of, I'm sure, what Putin needs to try to crush Ukraine, which I sure hope that Trump does not capitulate, or if he does, it doesn't happen, don't want that. So we're getting already here the discussion of war with this card, in my opinion, Warriors of Mars, battles for dominance. And that's what both of them are doing. Both of them are suppressing and oppressing not only their own country, but in turn then others that they deal with. Neither one is capable of building something that is really beneficial. All they do is tear down what someone else and other people have collaborated on and created. They are destroyers, and they will destroy themselves ultimately. They will bring to themselves their own destruction. That's what I get, and have been getting for a long time. So they're going to be on, I think, about talking about supplies and things that are needed around that. And it wouldn't surprise me if Putin's like, can you just kind of send me a little something, a little nice meeting you basket, I could see that nobody would find out about. I'm getting cosmic law and balance, fairness, justice. Well, that's interesting. So we're getting the Warriors of Mars and battles for dominance, and then we're getting cosmic law, balance, fairness, and justice. Well, I don't think that fairness, balance, or justice is going to be anywhere near the two of them. But supposedly they will be discussing those things. I suppose for themselves, in trying, to battle each one for their dominance. For Trump, it's the Democratic Party. Oh, I hope my camera is not. I hope my recording's still good. But I think the difference is Trump has someone to yet, despite the fact that he's still trying to undermine and is taking and changing laws and all of that and throwing other ones out. he still has to answer to us at the end of the day. Putin really does not. He has to answer to himself. So it's a little bit of a difference. And I do believe, despite what either one would like to believe, there is a greater law with the cosmic law card than either one of them and their crooked or paid off, bribed off admin people that, judges and so forth, that they've got under their belt, or where they've managed to, either one of them. It's their law is not above cosmic law. And that's a really interesting message that we're getting with the Warrior of Mars cards and the Battle of Dominance, that both of them have. And it says to me, with that cosmic law, that they will not succeed in their attempt to overtake what a greater law. They're triggering it, I think, actually, with their battle for dominance card. So if we look at it like both of them being a couple of war crazy, hostile, dictator type leaders, we've got a reminder here. Boom. You know what? You're nothing compared to the greater law that can come down upon you, that you're triggering, which is a cosmic law. You've got the justice scales, balance, fairness, and justice. And to me, that is a caution for both of them, that there's a greater law at hand. They've forgotten that they are not the most powerful yet. I really feel that. Atmosphere influence, how you are affected. Okay, let's see what card comes with this. Changing times, generations or civilizations. So there's change in the air with atmospheric influence being, how people are being affected, and even them, by outside people, outside of themselves, outside their trusted power circle. We are making a change by, I think, our generations coming together to stand up against both of these leaders, so-called leaders. They're just tyrants. They don't count on, again, kind of that message, if they don't count on we the people. And I'm not just fluffing this. This is about not just one generation, but this is like, I get at least 3 generations. That's just what came to mind. And civilizations. There's just also a message here that we're in the midst of so much change, and it's so deep and thick where we are in the midst of it, that we can't appreciate it entirely right now, but we will, I think, later, those of us that get through it, and we will. Fearlessly Pluto, transform, face your fears. So they're talking about world. Here we have the globe. And that's sun and moon, just so you know, those lights on there. Global matters, once again, are being discussed. I'm sure Putin's talking about Europe and his concerns, and to some degree as well. There is an ethereal energy here too. There's an invisible force we're given, okay, around this fearlessly Pluto, where they're being pushed to face their fears. Well, we know that both of them love fear. That's what they feed the people, and get people brainwashed by. They appeal to people's very powerful emotion of fear pretty successfully, and by abuse of their power. But I feel like as much as they have power, they need, there's another power that yet again they're going to be finding out about. And I know that sounds so, I even hate kind of saying it, but it just feels like there's frankly a limit, it looks like to me, or there's some sort of condition around these two leaders. There's cosmic law on them right now. Saturn's discipline, crafting your skills, okay. Silicon symbiosis, AI reliance. So they're talking about also science, the use of AI and information. Wouldn't surprise me if he's bringing certain information he shouldn't bring. Classified info or something like that. He always passes him off some information, I believe. Inner oracle, truth resonates within. And visionary's mind, think bigger. So, in looking at inner oracle, truth resonates within, visionary mind, think bigger, I think it's calling on us to trust our intuition about what they talked about. It's interesting too because the visionary's holding a book. It's like information opening up. I'm getting remote viewers. I'm getting other people like myself doing readings on this, and kind of it's like they can't hide this entirely. And I'm getting evolving essence, that naivety softens, wisdom blooms, and serpents keep guarded from the unready. Again, I feel like there is like an intervening energy here, but about where these two men are concerned and about what they're going to be able to successfully do. We get eternal cycle, reincarnation, destined path, embrace fate. This is interesting. This makes me feel like these two and this circumstance has happened before, and we know that it has, and probably many times, unfortunately, in the Earth's, history. But it looks like these two this is a highly karmic fate these two have together. And it goes back to a past life, and in this life, they're going to have to embrace their fate. Maybe they got away with it last time, but this time I think I'm getting a message here like, these guys think they're going to, they're so confident. But I keep getting like, they're not counting on something that's coming down the pike for them. And it's part of something they can't stop. It is something that is karmic, that has, and I was getting this with them other cards, like with the Wheel of Fortune. It's something that they set into motion, I think, in another lifetime. I know that sounds crackers, but this time they have to face the circumstances, face their fate. They have to embrace it. They can't run away from it. Furthermore, this, I get like the road is going to end for them, and I think it's going to take them both by surprise, because it feels like in past lives they both have gotten away with this. This would be the final time for them with, I think, some issues. simply by the cards they always get of ending cards, you know, both of them, lots of tens and death and transformation. Harnessing power, elevating energy, and guardian's shield, protected or guarded. Well, I think that they're talking about, definitely, I think also Russia's needs for defense weapons, and with the elevating energy and protected or guarded, could also be about like energy grids. That flashed into my head, because there's always something going on with often the energy and the oil, their flow, all of that. That's protected in some way or guarded. Maybe he's asking for that in some way. I'm not sure. We get draconian deception, malefic hostility. But at the end of the day, there's no love, really. They're both equally selfish and out for themselves, and malefic in their hostility. It's quite, there's the nod, yeah, they're evil. Cloak of confusion as well, mind fog or forgetfulness. That will be Trump. That would be Trump. And also the misinformation, disinformation, that draconian deception. I think they're also discussing about ways to try to cover up their crimes and deflect, and ideas about how to do that, especially if Putin's wanting something else. You know, they're brewing up plans and excuses. And I do think there, at some points, I'm getting like, they get a bit on each other's nerves. The way forward into the future and guiding light. Seek guidance and light. Well, that's what they should be doing. This makes me feel, for them, the way forward is there is a guiding light, and I tend to think that they're going to get exposed. Divided path, separated. Radiant energy, alignment. There's, they're not friends. I think if Trump had any sense of Putin being his friend, I think that here recently that has changed a bit. There's more of a competitive feel here, and I don't think even he could muster it. And I think their paths are going to divide. Especially, I think, if he keeps revealing things and putting up Melania's photos that upset her, the way he's doing it is upsetting her, even despite the fact that she said, "Oh, I'm proud of those." I don't get that she is, because she knows why he's doing it. Okay, let's see what else. Distraction addiction. Bound by technology. You can expect a lot of tweeting, a lot of social media posts, and that are trying to distract us from what they were really talking about, from the Epstein files, from all of his scandals that are just popping out of the woodwork at this point. You start to forget one, you get another. So I can see Trump is going to be on social media a lot, trying to distract, and he's going to be in survival mode, heightened alertness. he could feel threatened in some way there. Survival mode, heightened alertness, kind of nervous and distracted. And he's also in survival mode because he realizes he could get removed as well. The survival of him being able to stay in office and keep from going to prison and facing actual legal consequences. Although I doubt he would ever, honestly, have to face anything like the rest of us would. And that's something that's got to change in this country. Stellar gateways, take a leap forward. So there is a chance, there's a risk that they're going to take, and they're going to have cause and effect. I keep getting that karmic effects, cause and effect, from taking a leap in survival mode, trying to cause distraction. And then we get sovereign ruler, authority over all. This is trying to dictate over all, trying to take absolute power. Looks like they're going to be discussing that, and Trump with what he's doing there. Open your eyes, awakening, remembrance. So when we get sovereign ruler, authority over all, and open your eyes, awakening, remembrance, it reminds me of my dream of running toward a light, a beautiful rising sun, and trying to get people to wake up and shouting, wake up, wake up. To me, again, there's going to be perhaps another set of people that are going to wake up a bit. Awakening, remembrance, and they're going to realize this furtherance of, I think, trying to act even more the dictator now that he's had his little chat after Friday with Putin. It's not going to go over well. I think for some people that have, for whatever reason, not seen it or not wanted to believe it, it looks to me like, again, we're getting that awakening on the part of others that have been still asleep to what he's doing. Finally, I don't know. Navigating spirit, direction of your journey. They're deciding about which direction, what to do, how they were going to do things to secure their power. Yes. And looking to see if they can help one another out with their... I get a feeling like Trump's like, I need this. They're trying to wheel and deal each other and see if the other can get one to capitulate. But I don't think that's going to happen. Write it down. Scribe, Thoth, and Spirit Channel. Connection download. So this is something information-wise. I feel like, again, there could be some leaks here. Okay, let me just see a few more cards with that. Source, origin, the beginning, paired with lunar illumination, reveal the hidden. What was I just saying about leaks? So I think there's going to be more leaks, and I think certainly Putin, if he doesn't like and doesn't get what he wants, and maybe that would cause Trump to have a great deal more nervousness if Trump leaves not feeling certain of his security with Putin and anything Putin might have on him. Let's see. I think he could come home anxious for something he wouldn't want us to see being dropped So let's just look at with the regular tarot now. What are Donald Trump and Putin going to discuss on Friday? What is likely? How is that likely to go down? And what do we need to know? Now, both are air signs. So Putin might come up as a King of Cups, because he does have, I believe, a Scorpio moon, I thought. I could be wrong. But I'll just play it by ear and see what the vibe is. Okay. What are Putin and Donald Trump going to discuss on Friday? Lifting restrictions, easing confinement, also prison, potentially, or feeling where they're stuck, each one of them. Again, where one of the other needs help, the other is, like what I was saying, can I scratch your back, you scratch mine? Is there any common ground to do that? And it looks like there is. It looks like someone's going to loosen the ropes a bit of some kind of constraint. We've got that conservative, real black and white type discussion. There's teaching. I'm sure that Putin's going to be the one that would be really kind of telling him more about some things. There's an offer and approach. So there's seeking to receive and to give an offer that has some form of authority, with the Hierophant. I think it has to do with laws or the sanctions that are put on them, because those two cards are both near each other, and there's that loosening up feeling. And I think of, hey, can you bend the rules for me a bit? But there's going to be an end here. There's an ending that's very transformative. We do have the Death card, and we get the Ten of Cups as well. There is, I think, possibly the discussion of quite literally loss of lives in war. And that's maybe also why wanting them to loosen up some things, because a lot of Russian military do not have basic things that they should. It's horrible. But there's an ending here. There's two cards that speak of, again, a transformative ending that I don't think either one realizes is ahead. It's coming. And in connection to this offer, there is some kind of end of perhaps generosity and rainbows, maybe even. Is it not going to be well received? Something not going to happen that was asked for? I get the Nine of Pentacles, the wealthy, the oligarchs, and we get the Page of Wands, something new, business ideas, and independent wealth. So there's business being talked in the middle of this too. Of course there is. And I'm sure oligarchs and Trump's billionaire buddies, there's deals they want to make. So I'm sure he's kind of carrying a message there on some of their behalf, his shady friends. We get Wheel of Fortune and the Empress. There's going to be a shift and a change in both countries. And I think especially where women are concerned, that we've got the rise of the divine feminine coming. And they're getting ending cards. And this is also a card of abundance, but I think this is also a time of women coming in that shifts their plans. And maybe the wealth. Could be that they're talking about redistributing, trying to redistribute wealth, or to affect maybe even stocks. Again, it's just a feeling, the stock market, messing with that, trying to, I don't know, get a payout from it like he did last time. He's not above and beyond that. But I still feel like it's a harbinger. I can't talk. It's a sign of, I believe, also a bigger change that's coming that I don't think they can appreciate, or maybe even we ourselves. Let's see what else we get. There's a downturn and decline economically with the Five of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. So there's not, I feel like, especially again, and we get another feminine card, something with women not being happy with being oppressed. And I think it's a heads up. Where women are concerned and support declining. There are hidden aspects here in cover-up, because I do think he is bringing him hidden information. Yeah. And the Four of Pentacles, they're securing their own needs and their own profit margins, largely, and how they can help one another or not. And trying to maintain control. Both are afraid of losing that control as well, and are talking about, being more firm. Coming down more harsh. I'm getting the Magician. And the Four of Swords. There is manipulation here. But I don't see it moving forward. There's instead a pulling back. So it's like whatever he's trying to put into action or to do is not going to manifest. To me, it's just kind of laying flat. It doesn't take shape. Yeah, there's some kind of delay, a hang-up. People are looking at things from another perspective. And there's more sudden anger, quick reactions then. Could also be if he doesn't do what Putin wants, there could be issues. Okay. Let's just see. Will Putin or Trump be satisfied after meeting each other as far as getting what they want? Well, here we have the Emperor. We got, it's only so much oxygen in the room for these guys. And we have the Ace of Wands. So there's the start of some things, but there's also some possible, testiness. They're going to try, excuse me, and we've got the Chariot to move forward, but somebody's not happy with it. Maybe not happy with the effort or what they're getting. It's just kind of meh with that Four of Cups. It does not carry excitement. Like, yeah, I got what I... No. It's a real meh card. And I don't think either one of them are going to get exactly what they want. They're focused on their own wants and needs. They're really not interested in brokering any kind of peace or any kind of anything. They're there to try and scratch each other's backs, because both of them are in a vulnerable position, or becoming more and more vulnerable to keep power. And we have the Five of Pentacles, decline, both of them. Decline in health, decline in I feel like support out in the cold. Yeah, and walking away. I really think with these last two, there is not coming away feeling satisfied at all, feeling abandoned, feeling like you shafted me. You didn't give me what you promised. You couldn't deliver. Oh, gee, that's too bad. So there's some sense of having to move on, and I think not count on the other. There's just a decline that both will still have as their fate. And maybe that's what the cards are trying to say. Despite whatever's going on right now, what they don't see is that they do have a specific fate that they have to be held to. An outcome that they have to face. And I don't know. We'll see, I guess. I personally would be shocked, in this world, at this, call me jaded, if one of these criminals were ever really held to account. But maybe there's something karmic in there that we're not aware of, I'm sure. Because we do get that. And the Five of Pentacles, that Eight of Cups, both of them walk away having to abandon things and let go of things and move on. So absolutely not. And I don't think either one is enriched by the other's efforts for each other. Here we have the Hierophant. I feel like this is advice, again, coming and talking with, I think, other admin staff, people like Miller, because he is policy. Anxiousness, not sleeping well. Something makes Trump very nervous. If he can't fulfill or make Putin happy, I think Putin has things that he could definitely, drop. He wants peace of mind. He's having to pull back. Not sleeping well. Being tired. Really tired. And probably a lot of late night, early morning social media posts. There's the Three of Swords. This is feeling like someone has stabbed you in the back. And the Ten of Swords. This is ruinous. to me, it shows both of them will have issues with health. I think there is a great deal of stress, lack of proper rest that we need to take note of. And I think right here, they pretty much both face very painful loss, because there's a new day ready to dawn. And it's like they have to be cleared first. They're the debris that will be left. And they're traitors to their people with the Three of Swords. They have caused so much suffering and so much stress and ill health, actually, I think, through stress for people. Actual people to pass through their violence and their call to violence. Trump with January 6th, you know, Putin with his wars and everything else with Ukraine. Ace of Cups, his invasion. Great deal of emotion about this. Not surprised. A lot of crybaby stuff. And trying to defend oneself and trying to keep one's head on one's shoulders, so to speak. Trying to retain power. We got a King of Cups and a Queen of Wands showing up. Feels like other people in government. We have the Seven of Pentacles as some kind of plan or patiently gathering information, bringing something together. There's another female here that's also involved in some kind of plan. Maybe they're trying to get him, removed or some kind of action. And there's things to do, especially with children and the past. That could be things going on where he took big risks, like the Lolita Express with Epstein. This could be other things, to do with how his actions have affected children in a variety of ways here, where healthcare and education and things like that are concerned. But he's also shown to be taking and willing, he's going to just take a ridiculous risk, and it feels like he's in that sundowner mode with that nostalgia card and the Fool. I get that real sense of like he's going to be more in that sphere. So I think his decline cognitively is going to become really bad. I do. I think there's going to be people trying to, at the same time as other people doing other things with suing him and whatnot, trying to get him, I think, called out for that and for Epstein, holding him to account. Oh, that's old. This is the need coming to a crossroads where a choice has to be made. And again, there's a new start. There's the start of I think, trying to get him removed. Ace of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles. That, I think, is to do with money and funds where he's gained money, how he's made money, filled his coffers as well. All kinds of illegality. Okay, let me just take another look. Okay, so let's look and see if Putin is going to drop Compromat on Trump. Is he ever going to actually drop Compromat on Trump? Is he ever going to leak some things, more things? Because I definitely have gotten that, so I want to just see if I can rack up some confirmation. With another deck of cards, I'm using Predictions deck by Trish James. Yeah. So is Putin going to release Compromat or leak Compromat on Trump after this meeting sometime, and when he sees things are not, when he's not getting what he wanted or thought he was going to hopefully get, or was hoping to get? Battle warship, that to me is yes, this is like a hostile action. Energy weapon, getting him all caught, worked up, and definitely putting energy toward an aggressive act of dropping information. Yeah, tsunami, rising water. The threat is going to go up. The longer I think he doesn't get what he wants, or things don't happen in a way that is pleasing to either one of these two knuckleheads. So there's tsunami, rising water, and we get joined forces. I think that's them trying to withstand a tsunami. Even if the point I keep getting is, you two can team up all you want. This tsunami is going to take you down. This is a force outside yourself that's coming, and that's on your fated timeline. I think that they want to be the tsunami, but I don't think what they realize is that there's one that's coming for them because of what they're doing. Well, let's just see. I'm getting pandemic or health crisis and changes coming. So I'm getting issues that I feel like both of these two have health issues coming. There's also going to be, I think, others that join forces against each one of them. Leaking stuff. Both leaders have this happening. And there's more people that are joining against them. This is gonna cause, I think, kind of a crack in the health again, the stamina and one's fortitude, health-wise. That's, I think, gonna be affected for both of them, because there's just a ratcheting up of this pressure with the rising of that water of tsunami. We get societal collapse. I think both of them are going to have our nations hit kind of bottom. Not kind of, but have a bottom. Farming, especially maybe farming industry, and that does not surprise me. Food shortages there then would come up. I think Russia will have much worse, and will have much more of a food shortage. And I think with the changes coming that are not ones that keep them in power, both of these men will be losing their grip on leadership and control. Lies and deception paired with earthquake shakeup, yes. There's consequences for those lies. And they don't expect that. And we're getting the sun, positive, yes, and we're also getting, no less, the flower of Ukraine, the sunflower. And I think that this still is speaking about, okay, we get darkness outage. So we get sun, and we still get, like, something of the darkness is exposed, because we get sun, yes, positive, and then we get darkness and outage. There's sun coming to light up this darkness. Again, there are leaks. There's something really that which has been hidden will be revealed. So I do think there's going to be Compromat dropped. And boy, we're getting future time. Cyclone damage. It is yet to happen, but it will cause further damage, I think, between them. There's also cards of floods and heavy rain. Spreading, mutating. This to me is disease and stuff like West Nile. Fire, heat wave. More fires. We have fires going on now. Southern California. But I think we're going to start to see some of that pop up again. I also unfortunately get a sense of they could sabotage blue states by spreading something that causes fire. You know, I don't know, that could be a reach. What was I saying about that earlier? Food shortage. There's not enough people to get the food, so the prices go up. There's less people that have nothing to live on are going to really need assistance at food banks. People that can should help and get ready to help. That's going to be coming, I think, over the next several months forward. And we get surveillance record. I think shoplifting is going to go through the roof. That's what I just pictured in stores. More stuff behind security. You know, secured means. Because of shoplifting. Like meats and things like that, maybe even. So many people that are not wealthy. This shows a wealthy person here with all this money, but this is not. And we get classified knowledge, all that money. Again, with these two, he's selling, I think he's selling, Putin's buying knowledge from him. Because he's got money, but he needs help. He needs any little bit he can get. Controlled narrative. They're not going to want people to know that that's what they were doing. So they try to control the story, but there's a planned outcome. And I think people will be able to put it together. It's like, you guys just spoke and now you're doing this. You know, it's not going to take rocket science to figure out what's happening. Housing issues, replace or exchange. You know, people, especially where there's been flooding, they're having to stay like in Red Cross. I just feel like because the background here is pretty. This one not so much, but this one, it's kind of messed up. And I think like where people's homes have been damaged from floods and stuff, there's going to be issues housing people and enough houses for people to move into, because here you've had whole sections of places, being affected, in the likes of Wisconsin as well. This is going to be an issue domestically. He's going to be on social media, and we get worldwide Earth. for all the world to see. I think it's embarrassing for Americans what he's going to be posting. Rulership handover. Huh. I know that Ukraine is going to cede some land. Maybe it's, well, that's land, not rulership. Rulership handover and solution to the problem. Well, I think that's going to be more of it being more obvious to, I believe, civilians of both lands that the problem is the leadership, and we need new leadership in both nations. And honestly, that's the solution to the problem, is a change in leadership. Just looking at this, prepare, stock up. Don't, however, be too greedy. You know, just get an extra one. You know, cyber attack. There have been more of those taken by force. So we could have issues, maybe even where our stock and food, and there's a food shortage. There's going to be some issues, people playing around with that to make other people miserable and to get an edge. Underground, in hiding. Uprising, rebellion. I think as more and more people become less and less agreeable and supportive, we're going to have more people that are going to come out from having been quiet to wanting them gone. And I think in both countries, I think they share kind of a fate this way. Fake news, tension escalates. I think they'll be trying to say that there's no tension escalating. They'll say it's fake news. That the people aren't really rising up. You know, that he's doing great. Both of them. Again, planned outcome. There's something ahead, and I feel like this is from before birth. There is, I feel like, a fate that they are to meet. Corrupt dealings. All for money. I get drone strike. Mainstream news. And big news. Maybe mainstream news will start to pick up more of the bigger stories. There's going to be changes there as well. We've already been seeing that with a lot of people leaving mainstream news. I think that's going to be part of the big news, to be honest. More journalists that we know leaving it. Especially around fake news. If they're working for a place that's not reporting what's happening, I think they're going to have mainstream news face some big news themselves. I'm seeing a change, more changes within, I think, our news sources. I get royal family. You know, Andrew. I'm feeling Andrew. Trying to do stuff to make him look better. I don't know, the greater good. Urgent act now. Commercial airline. The greater good. Ooh, I don't like what I kind of get with that. Urgent act now. Could somebody have in the... I should look at Andrew and see. There's something to do with flying. Urgent act now. An emergency, I don't know, with an airline. You know, that we've had such bad luck with flying here because of what Trump and Elon did. Distraction, illusion. That's not good. security cameras. This makes me feel like someone's trying to have something happen and cover it up and make it look like something else, and connection to the royal family. Strategy and planning behind it. Maybe someone's going to be on a plane that could have problems, if you know what I mean. And we get strategy and planning and new rules, policies, laws. Mosquito, airborne. So, keep getting stuff about airborne flight. And, a mosquito's a pest. I think if there's anyone that's giving them trouble, they are on a plane, they might want to miss that flight. Okay. Submarine underwater. Moon, no clear. I think there's a lot of energy here of covering up and trying to keep the truth from coming out, but I still see them getting huge leaks, and there's going to be huge changes. And we get politicians in government. So there's going to be a shift in leadership for both the United States, I think, and Russia, where both Putin and Trump are concerned. But that's further ahead. We have to undergo the kind of the labor to get them out of here. All right, let's just see. I just want to use my other deck really quickly. My governance oracle on them. Kind of reading of them both. So, will Trump and Putin lose power? Will they both end up losing power around the same time? That's something I've always been curious about. I don't know whether or not I'll get a proper kind of a sense here or not, but let me just see if I can pick up on it. Will Trump and Putin lose power around the same time? Because I keep getting things about a change in rulership, a change in govern, like a big change. Will Trump and Putin both lose power around the same time? Anything like that going to happen? Successful outcome, improved situation, support, assistance, isolated, outcast. So, yeah, I think both of them will. There is going to be, I think, people taking matters into their hands to get an outcome that they want, and there's more support for that, making them isolated outcasts, especially Trump. Concede defeat and power shift. So I think that they will both have to concede defeat, that they will both experience shift in power, they will both lose power, and be considered isolated, kind of an outcasts that are looking around, sniffing around for support. There's going to be collective action, and you can see people here that are protesting. I'm going to see if I can see what it says on that little sign. Stop, stop, injustice. Economic challenge, because I think both have harmed economies, and that affects the world. And this trade crap. Now they come off like a united front here, but it's a facade of goodwill. So even though they say we're doing good things together, we all know that it's a facade of goodwill. And we got borders and deportation, and bound by allegiance. So they're going to do what their own selfish agenda is. And we can look at more about these, especially where the borders and deportations are concerned. And looking at the people that work for them in that, those that are allied to them in that border patrol and ICE and all of that, that comes under more scrutiny now too. You get a trusted advisor. Who would that be? Covert corruption. I think one of Trump's trusted advisors could be caught for covert corruption. No kidding. I get no and true to their word. Forced hand. Fraudulent conduct. I think it's going to be, they're going to try and cover it up. Something in connection to one of his advisors, probably Levitt. There's further denial. But she's going to be, I think, forced. This just made me think of her. To admit some kind of fraudulent conduct. She's going to be absolutely insistent and relentless in defying admitting any wrong, and a fall from grace. Selling secrets. She might be caught giving information in a way that's improper, maybe straight up selling them. Pursuit of control. I feel like that's Trump and Levitt's energy there. But we get an interim placeholder. I think there's going to be a new person coming up to take maybe her place at some point. Lacking control. And is that interim placeholder going to lack control? Or is the lacking control because of her and they're bringing an interim placeholder? I get briefed in command. I feel like Trump's going to have to okay this, and it's to gain approval, and he'll do it. I think she's going to take the fall. He's going to throw her under the bus. We've got the trade war issues and outside the trusted circle. Lacking readiness. He's just a failure. And a change in focus. Well, he's always changing his focus. He can't keep focused on anything. And that's part of the problem. There's no organization. There's no meat. There's nothing constructed properly. Policy overhaul. Easily bought. Bribery. Lobbying. Shadow ruler. Stephen Miller. Mounting tensions. They're just going to be with their selfish agenda, and not for nothing they show housing infrastructure with the Golden Gate behind them. I think they're going to lose again more power because there's going to be people from these storms and whatnot, and I think that have supported them in areas that are going to find that they don't have the infrastructure they need or the care that they need, and that they're going to find, I think, Trump selfish. I've got a kitty cat. So I tell you what, I'm going to leave it right there, and I'll let you share what you want to share below. I've got a kitty cat. I've got a snuggle. So thank you so much, and if you appreciate readings like this, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and I will do another deep dive reading on these two morons another day. All right. Hey, Bear. Thank you so much.